Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is the Altitude series rack and rack attachments.
The Altitude series was purposefully engineered to bring you a cohesive rack and rack attachment ecosystem that fills the gap between the cheap and simple racks found at big box retailers or online stores with questionable quality and those big flagship racks. So we created a middle ground with many of the high-end features and attachments seen on those large racks, but with more simplicity and a clear attachment upgrade path.
Now, as you may have already picked up on, the Altitude series is not just a rack. It is a family of products that was engineered and tested by our in-house product and engineering team here in Colorado. We wanted to make a line for the everyday lifter with a high quality standard and great attachments for a ton of exercise variety, but at the same time for people who don't want to spend all their free time trying to decide whether or not they want a 6-post rack, a 4-post rack, this attachment or that one, a cable attachment or not, built-in weight storage or winged out storage, and then sifting through a ton of other attachments.
With the Altitude series rack and its full lineup of attachments, you get a true all-in-one training system. Normally, to do everything this rack can do, you need to buy at least 4 large individual pieces of equipment: a power rack, a functional trainer, a lat pull down, low row, and a standalone Smith machine. Here, they're all combined into one seamless system without sacrificing the performance or feel of any individual piece.
So we put our years of experience and expertise to use to handpick the things that matter the most and make the biggest impact in the effectiveness of your training with an all-in-one power rack. And here in this video, we will show you how we did that and why.
At the heart of the Altitude series is a kitted out 6-post rack. We've also developed a purpose-built rack integrated cable attachment that gives you the ability to do lat pull downs, low rows, and has adjustable trolleys on those front uprights to act as a functional trainer. And it does all of this without taking up any extra space or interfering with your base rack's functionality.
Next, there is an option for an integrated Smith machine that does not interfere with your rack or cable system. And lastly, there are some smaller attachment add-ons, and we are starting out by offering a full-length leg roller and drop-in dip bars with additional attachments in the future.
Our goal is to make your purchasing experience just as cohesive and straightforward as the Altitude series itself.
So now that we have laid the groundwork for what the Altitude series is and why it exists, let's break down each one of the new Altitude series products in a little more detail, starting with the heart of it all, the rack itself.
The Altitude series rack is a complete 6-post rack with 2x2-inch uprights and 1-inch holes for the attachments. The uprights have laser-cut numberings on every other hole, making it easy to align your J-cups and other attachments. And with a weight capacity of 700 pounds, it delivers more than enough strength for virtually 99.9% of lifters.
To start out, the only choices you have to make when buying your Altitude rack are the height you need and the color you want. For the color, you get to choose a rack upright color from our current offering, and we are also including the option for stainless steel front uprights, but more on that specific option in a moment. As for the height options, you have 2 options at either 90 or 83 inches tall, and for that, we recommend going with the tallest rack that you can fit in your space. Now that alone is more than many other racks in a similar category offer, but we take it further still.
Let's start with the attachment options. Every attachment features composite liners anywhere it makes contact with the rack or your barbell, eliminating that metal-on-metal wear and helping you keep your equipment looking new for longer. Most attachments also come in a metallic black finish, giving the entire setup a cohesive and streamlined look. While there are several attachment options available, the essentials come standard with your purchase, so there's no guesswork on your end.
First up is the J-cups, where you rack your bar for movements like squats or presses. The standard option is the flat sandwich J-cup, and we chose these because they offer superior strength and protection for your barbell knurling, as well as the paint on your rack uprights.
Next, we're on to the Safeties. For this rack, we're starting you with our flip-down Safeties, which are a great option because they are strong, versatile, and very easy to adjust. To adjust them, you simply remove that mag pin, flip them up, and slide them out. Then you align them at your new desired height, ensuring that it's level. And then you flip it down, put that mag pin back in, and then you're good to go. They also have a composite liner on the top similar to the material that's on your J-cups, which helps protect your barbell knurling. But it also provides a good way to do an exercise like heavy rack pulls.
And for the pull-up bar, we are providing you with a multi-grip pull-up bar. This bar provides multiple grip options for wide grip pull-ups similar to what you'd find on a lat pull-down bar, but also pronated or supinated, neutral, or angled grip pull-ups. And unlike the rest of the attachments, the multi-grip pull-up bar has a grippy matte black powder coat, so whether you're doing pull-ups, leg raises, or any other hanging work, your hands won't be slipping off at the end of a hard set.
Next, you need a place to store all of the weights that go on the bar. So this rack comes with built-in weight storage just a few short steps away from your barbell. Each side has 4 weight horns, which is plenty for a few pairs of larger plates down low and smaller plates up top.
The next feature and attachment isn't so obvious at first glance, but it can be a game changer, and it is found along the bottom cross member. So because we designed this from the ground up to be a cohesive unit, it has specific holes right where they need to be. Holes up front for the Smith machine, and 2 holes right here in the middle for our Rep X Cleva Adroit landmine attachment. Because having a landmine attachment is one of the most underrated things for a home gym, and it opens up a ton of movement variety, like hack squats or Cossack squats for the legs, kneeling presses and rows for the upper body, and rotational exercises for the core.
Okay, now let's take it back and talk about the stainless steel uprights. So there are 2 main reasons we're providing you with the option to only have stainless steel front uprights. First, and most importantly, is because stainless steel uprights pair perfectly with the trolleys on the cable attachment. The trolleys slide smoothly up and down the uprights, and because they have no coating, they're a little more durable than the powder-coated uprights. And the second reason is because stainless steel is expensive. So by providing you with only 1 pair, we can give you one of the main benefits of stainless steel without all the cost of having stainless steel on uprights where the benefits don't matter as much.
Okay, now that does it for the main portion of your rack. And with those attachments alone, you are set for just about any workout you would want to do. But there are some important additions you can add to provide even more value to your workouts.
When it comes to safeties, you have an additional option if you'd like to replace your flip downs or add a second pair, strap safeties. These are made with a heavy-duty strap, which can be a little less jarring on your barbell if you have to bail on a lift or when you're doing rack pulls from them. They also have the added benefit of allowing you to offset the height between the front and the back. For example, you can set the front of the straps higher than the back so that if you bail on a squat, the bar rolls forward and away from your body, reducing the chance of it making contact with your back.
The next attachment is a full-length leg roller. Now, having a leg roller, whether at a shorter length or a full length that goes all the way across your rack, can open up a ton of functionality out of your rack. The main benefit here on the Alititude rack is that it pairs perfectly with the cable attachment, allowing you to sit on a bench and hold your legs down while performing lat pull downs.
However, that's not all you can do with it. We have found it has some advantages when being used for other exercises as well. So for example, because it's heavy duty enough, it can be used as a back support for hip thrusts, which is a little more comfortable than using a bench. You can also use it to support your back leg during Bulgarian split squats. And when it's mounted low, it works perfectly for holding your legs in place during Nordic curls. And when you're finished, it stores vertically on that upright using the mag pin, keeping it off the floor and out of the way.
The last optional attachment is going to be our drop-in dip bars. These will provide you with a rock-solid way to do dips in your rack, and because of the drop-in design, these do look a little different than what is typically offered for rack-attached dip bars, but with that, this drop-in design is going to be much more sturdy because the harder you push down on them, the tighter they'll be pressed up against the rack, creating more stability so you can focus on the best mind-muscle connection possible.
Additionally, these are similar to the pull-up bar in that they have that grippy matte black powder coat so that when your hands get sweaty during your workout, you won't be slipping off of those dip bars.
And even though they're called dip bars, they can also be useful for other exercises, specifically ab work. These bars can be great for doing either straight or bent knee leg raises and even L-sits. This brings even more functionality to your rack and variety to your training.
The next major piece of the Alititude series is the cable attachment. Put simply, this cable attachment enhances your training by giving you a rack-integrated cable system that does not interfere with your rack's functionality for barbell work or add to the footprint of your rack.
The Alititude series cable attachment provides you with the ability to perform lat pull downs and rows from the back of your rack, and then at the front of your rack you have an adjustable trolley on each upright, which will replicate a functional trainer similar to what you would find in many commercial gyms.
So at the lat pull down station, it comes standard with a traditional lat pull down bar. It functions just like the bars you're familiar with, but with this one, it's fully knurled from end to end, giving you excellent grip for every rep.
Then at the low row, we are setting you up with our premium Rep X Cleva built Atlas close grip. And to round out your cable attachments that comes standard, you have 2 fully knurled metal D handles.
Now, if you're familiar with Rep, you'll notice that the Altitude series cable attachment is similar to the Aries 2.0 that we offer with our flagship PR5000 series racks. But there's one significant change: the weight stacks. The weight stacks on the Altitude series cable attachment are side mounted in between the rear upright of your working portion of your rack and the weight storage upright. The reason for this is because it allows you to get a bench further back into that rack so you can more easily perform incline press from the back of your rack. And we take getting a bench into the right position in your rack one step further by adding these cutouts in that low row foot plate, giving the wheels on our compatible Rep benches a place to go, gaining you an extra few inches of space for a proper adjustable bench setup.
Now those weight stacks come standard at 170 pounds each and can be upgraded to 270 pounds. However, because the cable attachment has a 2-to-1 ratio, the standard weight stacks have a max feel weight of 85 pounds, meaning the weight that you are lifting at the end of the cable can be up to 85 pounds, while the upgraded weight stack has a max feel weight of 135 pounds per side. And yes, if you are thinking that either 85 pounds or 135 pounds isn't a lot for heavy lat pull downs or rows, you would be correct. But that is not an issue because since there are 2 weight stacks and you can combine those together with our 2-to-1 bar connector, so you effectively have either 170 pounds or 270 pounds for lat pull downs and rows, and we think that should be plenty of weight for just about anyone.
Another key difference between this cable system and the Aries 2.0 is how the integrated weight add-ons work. On this cable system, each guide rod features a 1.25 pound weight adder that easily slides down onto the top of the weight stack. This allows for precise 1.25 pound increments, and because there's one on each guide rod, you can also make 2.5 pound jumps by moving both down. This is especially useful for those smaller muscle groups like the delts, helping you get the most out of a movement like a cable lateral raise.
As for the aesthetics of the cable attachment, the trolleys and pulley housings were designed to have that same cohesive look and feel as all of the newer Rep products. However, one piece of the aesthetics is optional, and that is the shrouds that cover the weight stacks.
The shrouds look amazing, but if you prefer, you can opt to go without them and save a little bit on your purchase. Just keep in mind that without the shrouds, there's a slightly higher risk of a pinching hazard, especially if you have those little ones running around, and your rack may not have the same sleek appearance. The good news is, you can always add them later if you change your mind.
Okay, now on to the last major piece of the Altitude series, and that is the Smith machine attachment. Now, Smith machines can be a great training tool because they provide a fixed bar path and have built-in safeties. And that fixed bar path is great because it helps provide some stability to the exercises being performed so that the lifter can shift their focus to their technique and a better mind-muscle connection versus having to stabilize the bar like you would with a free weight barbell. And the built-in safeties mean you can push your limits confidently, knowing you are protected, and additionally, those safeties are low profile and easy to move with one hand, making adjustments a breeze.
So, since the Altitude series Smith machine was engineered to work specifically with this rack and the rack's fixed crossmember length and cable attachment positioning, we were able to engineer in one of the biggest benefits of this Smith machine attachment.
That is that the Smith machine uprights are spaced wide outside the sides of the rack, then positioned all the way to the front of the working portion of your rack. So what that means for you is that the Smith uprights do not interfere with your ability to use your flip down safeties or your cable trolleys, and having the Smith attachment mounted all the way forward on your rack means that it'll work with all bench exercises from flat bench to incline bench and all the way up to seated shoulder presses.
This gives you all the benefits of having a Smith machine in your rack, and you don't have to make any considerations about your setup because it won't require you to potentially compromise any other part of your Altitude series power rack capabilities.
Now, we engineered the Altitude series Smith machine to provide a large range of motion and have plenty of rack levels. Now, having a large range of motion is great because there are plenty of Smith machines out there that limit your range, especially at the bottom. But with the combination of our low profile safeties and slim design, you can get the Smith machine barbell closer to the floor. And as for the rack levels, there are 19 levels on the 90-inch rack and 18 levels on the 83-inch rack. So there are plenty of options for you to find your optimal takeoff point for whatever lift you are doing. And your selection of each rack level is made clear because of the laser cut numbering sitting on the Smith machine uprights.
Additionally, we made sure to provide a high-quality barbell because we found that a lot of Smith machines out there have a barbell that feels like an afterthought. So this Smith machine barbell weighs 15 kilograms or about 35 pounds and has the same knurl that is found on our flagship Colorado barbell. It's a medium aggressive volcano knurl, which is grippy, but it's not so aggressive that it beats up your hands. And that 15 kilogram starting weight is ideal for shoulder exercises. Yet that bar can still handle up to its full 400-pound capacity.
And just like with the rest of the attachments for the Alititude series, the bar hook has a composite liner, so there is no metal-to-metal contact, which will extend the life of your equipment. And another feature about the bar hook is that it has a built-in rotational stop. So even though the bar does pass close to the trolleys, it will never bump into them when you're lifting the Smith machine bar. So with that, we conclude the product overview of the Rep Alititude series rack and rack attachments. And we are confident with the combination of the quality and attention to detail from our product and engineering teams, along with all of the value we are bringing to you with this series, it is without a doubt one of the best all-in-one rack systems on the market today.
As always, leave a like, drop a comment below because your feedback and questions are always welcome. And if you want the latest insider info on Rep and our new products, then be sure to join our official Rep Fitness Community Facebook group. If you have any other questions about anything Rep, please don't hesitate to reach out to our Colorado-based customer support team.